Hello and welcome to you all, and today we are going to discuss transforming operators in RX Swift. These operators are known as transformers because they use to transform the values that is emitted by an observable. There is a very long list available for the operators in RX Swift, so we will discuss few of the very important ones. For the demonstration purpose, we are using playground file here, in which we have already imported RX Swift and RX Cocoa. Inside sources directory, we have added a helper.swift file in which we are having a public function, that is print operator, and this is for basically the formatting purpose whenever we are printing the output of our transforming operators on the console. So first operator in our list is map operator. And for the demonstration, I have created an observable on line number 7 with the help of from operator, which is containing 5 elements. So map operator basically applies the given closure on each and every element of your observable, and as a result it gives you an observable where each and every element is transformed by the application of the given closure. You can understand it better with the help of an example. We are using same observable for the demonstration of map operator, where we are having 5 elements 100, 200, 300, 400 and 500, and we want that each and every element of the original observable should be divided by 10 and our element should be transformed accordingly. So on the line number 13 we are using the map operator, and in the closure we are dividing each and every element by 10. So when you run this example in the console, you can see the output that each and every element has been transformed with the division of 10. So one thing is to notice here is when you apply the map operator on any observable, that is the highlighted part, again you get the observable in which each and every element has been already transformed with the help of this given closure, and after that you are subscribing that observable again, and as a result you get all the elements transformed according to the given closure. So this is the functionality of map operator. So second operator in our list is flat map. Flat map is used to flatten the hierarchy of an observable sequence where your sequence is already a sequence of sequences. So to convert it into a single sequence, you use the flat map operator. Pay close attention to this example because the same example will be used to demonstrate the flat map latest. There is a very slight difference between the flat map and the flat map latest that will be cleared with the help of this example. So as an example, we are having a struct player in which we are having a property score, which is an observable of type behavior relay, and that gives you integer values. So with the help of this struct, we are creating two players, Ashish and Sachin, by giving them initial score as 75 and 80. Now we have again created an observable as active player through which we want to observe that which one is the current active player for the game. And this is again the behavior relay subject as an observable which is containing Ashish as the initial value. So our current active player is Ashish. Now you can see that we have created a 2-level hierarchy here because the score property inside player is already an observable, and we have again created an observable in the form of active player which is containing Ashish as the current active player. So we are having an observable inside the observable, so it's a 2-level hierarchy. In these kind of situation we use flat map operator to get the emitted values. So with the help of flat map operator, you can very easily flatten the 2-level hierarchy inside your sequence, and you can very easily reach up to the score observable without any problem. And now what we are doing is we are adding 3 new scores to our current active player, which is Ashish, and at the line number 38 we are doing it with the help of active player observable, and at the line number 39 and 40 we are doing with the help of our current player, that is Ashish. So when we run this example, we can see that First of all, 75 is getting printed inside the console, and after that the score 95, 100 and 101 are getting printed on the console. So these three new scores are also getting observed by our subscription that is done on the line number 35. Now what we are doing is we are changing our current player to Sachin. So this is done with the help of accept operator on the current active player observable on the line number 43. After that we are adding two new scores to our current active player, which is Sachin now, that is 81 and 82, and together with these two things what we are doing is we are adding a score again to Ashish also. This is done on the line number 46. So now you can observe that we have already changed the current active player is Sachin, and we are adding one more new score to Ashish also, and there is a single subscription done to the current active player observable, but in the console you can see the output for Sachin also and for Ashish also. So this is something you need to observe very closely, that even after changing the current active player to Sachin, our flat map is still subscribed to the Ashish also. So it is not getting unsubscribed from the previous player. So this is one of the very major difference between flat map and the flat map playtest, that even after changing the current active player, your flat map is not unsubscribed from the previous player. So for the demonstration of flat map playtest, what we are doing is we are using same example that we have already done with the flat map. The only difference is instead of flat map, now we will use flat map playtest at the line number 68. So in the last stage, when we were adding the one more new score to the Ashish also, and that was getting printed on the console in case of flat map, it is not there when we are using the flat map playtest. So this indicates that flat map playtest has been unsubscribed to the previous sequence. So this is one of the very important difference between the flat map and the flat map playtest, that when you change the active observable from the flat map playtest, it get unsubscribed to the previous observable to which it was subscribed previously. We will take on next two operators together because somewhere they both are interrelated. So reduce is the operator which returns your observable sequence as the final aggregated value. So first take a look that what was our initial declared observable is. It is having 5 elements, and when we are running reduce operator on it, what it is doing is it is taking basically two values. One, what is the initial value as the parameter, and second, what operator you want to use. So the manner in which reduce operator works is it takes 0 as the initial value and it keep on doing the operation as per the value given in the accumulator parameter. So here we have given the addition operator, so it will keep on adding each and every element emitted by your observable. So as the result in your subscription, it will print an aggregated value of the total sum. So we were having initially 5 elements and their total is 1500. So with the help of reduce operator, we are aggregating all the elements emitted by the observable with the help of addition operator. So this is the functionality of reduce operator. So scan works exactly similar to the reduce, but only difference is it will give you an observable for each and every intermediate step. So when it will start with the initial value 0 and it will add 100 to it, it will returns you an observable 100, and when it will add 200 to 100, it will returns again you observable as 300, and it will keep on doing it until the emission get completed. So in the reduce, when you are getting the aggregated value as 1500, in the scan you get the observable for each and every intermediate step, and at the final step you get the total aggregated value. So this is the only difference between the scan and reduce. So next operator is the buffer operator. What buffer operator do is it can hold the emitted events by an observable sequence until the given value of buffer is reached. So this buffer can be provided with two types. Either you can provide buffer in form of time, or you can provide the buffer in form of the count. So suppose if you want to provide the buffer in the form of time, then you need to give the value to the time span parameter and give 0 to the count parameter. And similarly, if you want to implement it in the form of count, then give the value to the count and give 0 to the time span parameter. So for the example, we have given 2 as the count parameter. Now your emission will be hold up to the emission of 2 elements from the observable. So every time when the buffer value is reached, that is 2 elements have been emitted, then only emission will be done by your observable sequence. So in the console output you can see that every time the emission is done in the group of 2 elements only, and at the last when only 1 element is remaining, this is getting emitted as a single value, but all the other time it is respecting the buffer value that has been provided as the count of 2. So seventh operator is the filter operator, and this is, I think, self-explanatory with its name also, that is, it is used for the filtering purpose. So if you want to filter your observable sequence according to any given condition, then filter operator is used. So in our example, we want to filter our observable sequence for the values that is less than 300. So we are applying the filter operator for the transformation, and with the help of anonymous parameter we are giving the condition that element should be less than 300. So in your subscription you will get only the elements that are less than 300. In the console output you can see that only 100 and 200s are getting printed. So your filter has been applied to your sequence. Another operator is distinct until changed. So this operator basically allow the emission of element from your observable until the next value is always different from the previous one. So these type of operators are used basically for the search implementation purpose, where you don't want to send one more request for the search key if you already send the same search key in the previous given criteria. So in the example you can see that where in the line number 135 and 136 we are giving the same values to our observable sequence, so they will not be getting printed, or they will be restricted from the emission from your observable sequence. So for these type of situation you can use distinct until changed operator on your observable sequence if you want that every time your emission should be done if the next value is different from the previous one. Ninth operator is the take while operator. It works like a gate. So until your condition is getting true, your emission will be allowed from your observable sequence, and at the moment when the given condition is getting false, then your observable sequence will be terminated. So in our example we have given the condition that emission of the element should be allowed until they are less than 400. So at the moment whenever a new element is added to your observable sequence that is greater than 400, at that particular moment your observable sequence will be terminated. So in the console you can see that only 100, 200 and 300 are printed, because in the observable sequence that we have declared for the example, the fourth value was 400. So the given condition is the emission should be allowed until the next emitted element is less than 400. So that's why gate is closed for the emission right now, and now only the 3 elements will be emitted by your observable sequence. So this is the functionality of take while operator. So 10th operator is the start with operator. With this operator you can provide the initial value to your subscriber even if your observable is not containing that initial values. So in the given example you have already declared an observable of string 2, string 3 and string 4, but even after that to your subscriber you can provide few initial values. So this operator works in terms of the LIFO order. So whatever value you have given as the initial value at the last, it will be getting printed as the first. So in the console you can see that output is getting printed from the string -2 to string 4. So this operator is used to provide the initial values to your subscriber even if your observer doesn't contains it. Next of the two operators we will again discuss in the group because they are having very slight difference between them. So first is the merge operator and second is the zip operator. So merge operator is basically used when you want to combine your all, or you can say 2 or more observable sequence into a single sequence. Then you can use this merge operator. And in the given example, you can see that we are having three sequences as pub subject 1, pub subject 2, pub subject 3, and we are subscribing them with the help of merge operator as the single sequence. Whenever a new element is getting added to any of the observable sequence, it is getting printed as we have subscribed to a single observable sequence only. So this is the functionality of merge operator. But the condition is, in the merge operator, all the sequence should be of the same type, because in the example you can see that all the observable sequence are of string type only. So with the help of merge operator, you can deal with the observable sequence that are of same type only. And the additional functionality that zip operator provides is you can combine the observable sequence of different type also. So in the example from line number 185 to 188, you can see that we are combining the observable sequence of string and the int type together, and with the help of zip operator we have subscribed them as if they were the single sequence. So they are the two int observable sequence and two string observable sequence, but we are subscribed them as the single observable sequence with the help of zip operator. So this is the main difference between the zip and the merge operator. So here we complete the list of all the most important transforming operators in RxSwift. There are many more in the repository of RxSwift. You can go through them with the help of documentation, but these are the main that you will use very frequently while doing your programming in RxSwift. With this fourth session, here we ends the basic knowledge of RxSwift, and from the next session we will learn about RxCocoa. So till then, stay motivated and happy learning to all of you.